What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to talk about delay, more and more delay. So we have Senator Manchin, and we have actually the leader, Chuck Schumer, coming out and saying that they're going to delay the Build Back Better plan, and they're going to focus on the voting rights bill. So that's what they're going to be focused on now, and that as well as the filibuster, and then they'll move into Build Back Better later, maybe in March. They'll take it back up. So that's what we're going to focus on today. But first off, on this channel, we talk about financial news and more. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. So let's talk about Senator Joe Manchin and where he is right now when it comes to the Build Back Better plan. Now, this is interesting, and I'm going to show you. Let me go ahead and show you guys the headlines when it comes to this. And I just did a Google search, typed in Senator Manchin, and this is all the stuff that's being talked about when it comes to Senator Manchin. So let's look at some of these headlines here. So Manchin is open to revisiting Biden's agenda without the child tax credit. Joe Manchin says that he has had no talks about resurrecting Biden's Build Back Better. The New York Post is reporting here that Manchin, no negotiations on Biden's $2 trillion Build Back Better Act going on. And here's one here. Manchin expresses openness to climate action amid spending bill stalemate. So all these different articles that are talking about Senator Manchin, this is within the last, some of it this was just 46 minutes ago. Manchin says negotiations with Biden over Build Back Better have stalled. And we know this, right? We know that things are stalled right now, and it's even going to be a lot longer than we thought, okay? And the talk was that early this year, we would hear something when it comes to negotiations between Senator Manchin, President Biden. And just earlier this morning, Chuck Schumer, the leader of the Senate, he said that they're going to put a pause on Build Back Better, and they're going to focus on the voting rights bill. Okay, so that's what they're going to be focused on, the voting rights bill, and then they're going to be focused on filibuster. If they can't get the voting rights bill through, then they're going to really revisit this whole filibuster and probably make it a talking filibuster, which I think they should have been doing all along. But when it comes down to it, Build Back Better is going to be on pause. And they're talking about they might not take this back up until March. And so if they wait until March, that means the reality is we're probably not going to see anything until summertime, because if the Senate takes it back up in March, they're going to start negotiating again. That's going to take maybe a month, 2 months. And then they'll pass the bill in the Senate, and then they have to send it over to the House, and then the House is going to have to do what they do with it. And so this is one of those situations where we're probably not going to see anything until June or July because of this pause that they're now talking about. And this is going to hurt a lot of people. We're talking about the child tax credit. We saw Senator Manchin has some opposition when it comes to the child tax credit. He thinks that, or at least the sources are saying, he hasn't said this directly, but people are saying that he's concerned about the child tax credit. This money, people will be using this money to buy drugs, or they'll be using this money to go hunting. And I'm thinking that he's referring to West Virginians. He's referring to his state. But nonetheless, that's where his opposition is. He thinks that the money will be wastefully spent. And it's really interesting when you talk about middle class people, working class, poor people. It's interesting how politicians are always coming out and saying, well, how are they going to spend the money? They're going to misuse the money. But when it comes to tax cuts, because a child tax credit is a tax cut, when it comes to tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, guess what? You never hear them talk about wasting money. It was funny. I was watching a show last week, and they were talking about this restaurant, this sushi restaurant in New York. And per person, it's $600 per person to go to this restaurant. For a meal, $600 for a meal. Now, obviously, people are paying that. You have rich people that are paying $600 for a meal for sushi, which in my mind, sushi is not even a meal because it's just not enough. I eat it as an appetizer, but as a full meal, I'm not eating sushi. But it's amazing to me that when it comes down to these politicians and people being concerned of how these working class people are spending their money, you have rich people that are going out and spending $600 for sushi. And some of these rich people are getting tax cuts, and they're using these tax cuts in order to make these purchases. Or they're going and they're spending a lot of money on these crazy trips and parties and all this different stuff. But when it comes to working class people, middle class people, they're always concerned how they're spending money. The bottom line is, when we're looking at Build Back Better, we're looking at a situation where it's not going to happen anytime soon. And so that means when it comes to Medicare expansion, that's not going to happen anytime soon. When it comes to the child tax credit, the monthly payments, that's not going to happen anytime soon. When it comes to prescription drug reform, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And so a lot of these proposals, we're not going to see any movement on them until March. And then in March, they're going to have to start negotiating and then go from there. But it's pretty sad. It is really sad just to look at this whole situation and how it's all played out. I mean, we've been waiting for this for over a year now. They've been talking about Build Back Better, or at least talking about the second infrastructure bill. They keep changing the name of these bills, and they've talked about this whole $1.75 trillion bill being reduced even more. So we started at $6 trillion. Then it went down to 3.5 trillion. Then it went down to 1.75 trillion. And now we're looking at even more of a reduction because Senator Manchin has opposition to the 1.75 trillion, even that price tag. So that's something else that they're going to be discussing. So this is just one bad situation. And it's unfortunate, but the people who have to suffer when it comes down to it are the American people. And so I don't know what's going to happen in this midterm election, but we are looking at a situation where there are a lot of unhappy people right now, and they're looking at Congress and saying they're not doing anything. And we'll have to see if anything gets done this year. I would hope that something gets done this year, and I would think that politicians hope that things get done this year because their job is on the line if it doesn't. Not all of them, okay? So in the House, it's going to be everyone running for re-election, but in the Senate, it's only going to be a third. And so senators are a little more, the urgency is not the same as it is in the House. And when it comes to Senator Manchin, he's not running for re-election until 2024. So he has a couple more years. So he might not have that urgency either. It looks like Build Back Better will be delayed till at least March. I want to know what you guys think about this. So let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.